Hello there, this is Severn's warm temperate fields at the moment because back in 2006 of February I decided to plant out a field, but there is a lot of salt winds coming across. It is the mildest part of the British Isles, but unfortunately the little trees that I've put in are only very tiny and will get a lot of windburn from them. As you can understand, the field is absolutely completely bare almost, with the trees that I brought down from a colder climate from the north to the south, and this is what I went and did. But as you can come through to see the other parts that there is here, we've got round here, we've got a Brahea mater, and with the salt winds coming across, they've done a lot of damage to the Brahea mater, which is the blue Hesper palm. It's found in rocky canyons in northwestern Mexico, but it's completely burnt off there. The Phoenix canariensis isn't as burnt off with the salt winds for this specimen here. We've got a woolly spath palm over here, and that seems to have held up very well. The spaths are covered in very fine brown wool. And then the Chilean wine palm over here, Tubia, it has been burnt off. I had to cut some of the fronds off it. But other than that, we'll have to go into the future by 10 years and see what they look like then, and see what their survival is, which is my next chapter on this phone. This is anyway, but while we're here, this is a paperbark maple, Acer griseum, which is from central China. It does have a Cinnamon peeling bark on it, which is a nice brown coppery colour. Very nice specimen. And over here we've got a Pinus michoacana, which is needles are up to 14 inches long, and sometimes often up to 17 inches long, and it's from Mexico, and it has been burnt off with some of its foliage before. It is a struggle. We've got Podiocarpus salignus, but I am showing you them during the summer when they've tried to recover, so it's not really a very good judgment for that. Over here I've got a cork oak from the Mediterranean, Quercus sober. I had to cut the trunk off because it suffered some hardship through exposure, and now it's regenerated from the bottom and shot back up again. Hopefully, as the years go by and the shelter gets up, that we will indeed do much better and the plants will grow more happily. This is a Tasmanian cedar that I put in from Tasmania, obviously. Athrotaxus selenioides. And then over here we've got Acer grosserii, snakebark maple, which is very good. It has the likens to a python skin colour on the bark. This is when you get very, very close, you can see what it looks like they call it a snakebark maple. You can see the very fine white lines with green. Very, very interesting specimen. It comes from central China. Hello there, we've now jumped into the future by another 10 years, and the subtropical garden, or Severn's warm temperate garden, the trees are now up to 50 to 60 feet high. As you can see, they're right way up into the blue sky there. It's amazing, after another 10 years, how healthy everything can look, and the salt winds don't come in here anymore, and all the specimens are beautiful, and all the palms are growing. I've got subtropical and tropical palms all over growing, and I'm going to go through all these with you, the Latin names and the different species. I did build this fantastic cabin. If we go up the steps here, we can see I've got a nice veranda, but I have a habit of wanting to grow more palms, and other even small ones like this Phoenix dactylifera, African date palm from North Africa. People grow them from dates in the very, very hot countries of the world. And over here I've got a little baby Washingtonia mellifera, which is a Californian fan palm. And even though I've grown some palm trees now up to 6 meters high in my other collection that have been in the ground over 10 years. Anyway, we'll go back to the veranda now. And at the moment, believe it or not, it's now 26 degrees centigrade in the shade. 26 degrees centigrade, that's very, very hot for this country. It will help obviously the palm trees to grow, and my fine example of a very tender species would in fact be this Colombian feather palm. The trunk is dark grey and it will grow to 13 to 20 meters high, and a trunk diameter of 20 to 30 centimeters. The leaves are feather shaped, bright green, grey-green above and silvery beneath. 3 to 4 meters long on the adult foliage, of course. The fruit's green, smooth and beaked, 4 to 5.5 centimeters long, and eaten by the locals in Colombia. That's very, very nice, isn't it? Over here we've got another specimen. This one here is a Guyva tentulata. It lives in coastal central Mexico in Jalisco, and it comes out with spineless leaves which are soft to the touch and can be up to 25 centimeters wide and up to 1 meter long. Very, very tender. Over here is a Livingstonia chinensis from Taiwan and the Ryukyu Islands. It normally grows in tropical regions to subtropical regions, but growing very, very happily here. It's often called the fountain palm. It has nice glossy green leaves, and on the adult foliage the leaves can get 1 to 3 meters long and probably 1.5 meters across the segments, but the segments tend to weep at their ends, and they will grow from tropical to temperate regions and tolerating dark, shady positions. The other favourite tree that I'm trying to grow now, it's only a young plant at the moment, but is a sabal palmetto, which is Florida's state tree. The trunk is smooth grey and 50 centimetres in diameter as it grows up. The top of the trunk is covered with old leaf blades, splitting into 2 fashions as it goes up the trunk of the dead leaf, from the dead leaf blades. At the moment it lives in this country, but normally it would be from Florida and the Bahamas and Cuba, and it's a very good Caribbean one to grow. Over here is my Cycas revoluta, which is a cycad but not a palm at all, and these plants grow to about 3 meters high, 30 centimeters diameter, with a branching trunk sometimes, and stiff flatly held fronds to about 1 meter long and 20 centimeters across. Our origin is the Ryukyu Islands, so that's that one there. Behind us now is Eucalyptus bruckeriana from Tasmania and Eucalyptus ernigera. These ones are of Tasmanian origins, but the bruckerianas are towering 60 feet high, and the trunks are about 60 centimeters in diameter, all of just 10 years. Over here we've got Dacrydon cuprescens. It's said by a lot of botanists to be the most beautiful conifer in the world, and you can see why with its very drooping, elegant foliage, you know. Over here is this Mount Wellington peppermint, Eucalyptus coccifera. It's got brown and cream and grey patches on the bark, and sometimes can be more orange as well sometimes, which is a very good species. Over here I've got a Livingstonia australis, Australian fan palm. It can grow to about 30 meters high and have a trunk diameter of about 50 centimetres through the bole, with big, this is the juvenile foliage where the leaves are not so wide across. Erignia McIvyfolium. We've got Vacrea permentrii, you know, which grows this long tall leaf stalk right away up to possibly 15 feet, 16 feet, right to the very top. And then we've got the Ryukyu banana plants from the Ryukyu Islands, which are rather very tender, but I can get them to grow here. And then finally over here we've got the bird of paradise, Strelitzia regni. The leaves are glaucous, 25 to 70 centimetres long, 10 to 30 centimetres wide. The flowers are 3 orange sepals and 3 purplish blue petals. Origin is South Africa. And then behind me I've got a very, very tender specimen, the Ecuadorian feather palm. It's found in narrow valleys in the lower ranges in Ecuador, South America. Their trunk is 4 to 10 metres tall when grown, 25 to 50 centimetres diameter, with an erect arching feather-shaped pinnate leaves. So it's very unusual to try and attempt to grow these unusual specimens. But let's, I've got a Brazilian feather palm there as well from Brazil, as we just go past that one, which grows jelly-like fruits on. Over here is the cabin, coming along here. I've got Griselinia latorius, which is from New Zealand. That's very good against the salt winds for your protection, so you can grow the more tender ones on the inside, I suppose. I've got Oleria macrodonta, which has the daisy-like white flowers on, but it's an absolute excellent shrub against salt wind exposure. It's another species that's from New Zealand. It has a nice brown peeling bark on it. Over here is the Chusan palm, Trachycarpus fortunei, which is from central China. Very hardy palm tree indeed. Very, very nice for this area. If I look over my fence on my other side, we've got Apiaceae breweriana, which is brewer's weeping spruce, which comes from North America. Over here we can move on. There's quite a lot of other unusual specimens. This Trachycarpus fortunei is actually in flower. You know, it's very nice to see it in flower. Over here we've got another tender specimen over here, which is Howiea fosterana, which is normally only grown as a house plant really in the British Isles, but we can grow them outside here. Very proud of that. And it lives on Lord Howe Island, you know, off the coast of New South Wales in Australia. Over here we've got Dicksonia squarosa, which is very, very tender, a tender species that's from New Zealand. Can't be normally grown outside, but with this super microclimate that we do have, we've got away with murder, in fact. Over here we've just got the normal Cordyline australis, and just growing here to quite big size. And over here is Cordyline indivisia, which the leaves can get up to 15 centimetres wide and well over a metre long. As you can see, they're very, very thick, and it's like 6 inches, which is 15 centimetres. It can be. It's got a nice trunk and everything, and doing very, very well. I'm going to move over. This one here is Banksia integrifolia. It comes from coastal Queensland and New South Wales, and it has flowers that are cylindrical and upright and pale yellow, like barrel-shaped flowers on when it gets established. Here I've got for you is a bamboo leaf oak, Quercus maricinifolia, and its origins of southeastern China, Thailand and Vietnam. It is good for the subtropical garden. It's like an oak tree family, but it produces bamboo shoots from the trunk. Over here is an experiment because it's very tender. It's a Sabal mexicana, and its origin is coastal southern tropical lowlands in Mexico, El Salvador, the Rio Grande River and southern Texas, found also on the Yucatan Peninsula. Plants prefer a hot climate to grow in, but it's only just an experiment. Sabal mexicana is this one, or Rio Grande palmetto. Over here is an unusual Trachycarpus princeps, and it's green fan-shaped leaves on the top, and it's silvery white or blue beneath. So if I can just put the leaf up, you can see the colour of the very, very glaucous silvery white. If I push it back there, you can see how silvery blue that is, and yet it's green on the top. These plants have a furry trunk just for the couple of feet at the top, but produced a ring bare trunk below that. It's nice to have it. It actually grows in the Salowin River area, and it's called the Salowin cliff palm, you know. Over here is Butea capitata, for producing jelly-like fruits on for the locals who live in Brazil. Growing the Californian coast redwood here, which is Sequoia sempervirens. It grows in California and up to southern Oregon on the coastal Pacific coastline. Specimens can reach 370 feet tall, over 112 metres, and this is a specimen that I've grown in this arboretum. But like I say, it's 10 years down the line like we are now. We've now got some really fantastic specimens now. And over here is Sequoiadendron giganteum from the Sierra Nevada redwood. Goes to be the largest living thing on earth. And I've got quite a few of these ones. My biggest one is a metre in diameter at the bottom of the trunk, and that's only in about, say, 15 years, because I did have it in a large plant pot when I bought it here, and it might have been 3 or 4 years old when I arrived. Okay then, let's move on. Specimen is Polylepis australis. It comes from northern Argentina, and it has a fantastic peeling, flaking bark, as you can see it. It's absolutely amazing bark on it. Very, very nice specimen indeed. I'm also very proud to show you this Eucalyptus regnans, which is near the roadside, not too far away. Giant gum eucalyptus. It is capable of being the tallest broadleaf tree in the world. So we're talking about the tallest broadleaf tree in the world. It peels off in long strips, and it's glossy green on both surfaces, its leaves. And this specimen now has got to be about 65, 70 feet high now at the moment. And this has all been in the ground for over 10 years. And it towers right to the top. I can't quite see the top on here. I'd have to... But it's absolutely a fantastic tree. That's Eucalyptus regnans. This is Cupressus lusitanica, the Mexican cypress. It comes from Guatemala, Honduras, and of course Mexico. It has a nice rich brown peeling bark on it. As you can see, if we get into the undergrowth here, it's nice now, but it's now growing very, very well indeed. Got a bit of the Trevia ivy to attend to. And over across here is Quercus ilex, very good wind defence. Abutus utenendo, which is the strawberry tree, followed by Aleppo pine, Pinus halepensis, which is from Aleppo. I put one of those in, that's quite a big specimen now. And over here is Pinus canariensis, Canary Island pine, and it has needles up to 20 to 30 centimetres long, and it has a very rough bark on it, you know. and the branches spread and droop, and they have drooping branchlets as well. And across, talking of that, we've got Quercus canariensis, which is over here as well. And then across on the other side we've got Phoenix canariensis, which is the Canary Island date palm. Its fronds are going right up there. It must be about 5.5, 6 meters high now, all the way up. It's a nice big trunk on it. Across here is the Mediterranean fan palm, Chamaerops humilis. It's found in Western Mediterranean areas and in North Africa. A very good fan palm to grow, but you've got to be very, very careful about the thorns on the leaf stalks, as they are very sharp, and you've got to be very careful when handling them. Over here is the same again. Over here is, it's got nasty thorns on the leaf stalks as well, but this is Washingtonia robusta, the Mexican fan palm. It grows in northwestern Mexico, and often seen not far away from the ocean. That'll be the Pacific Ocean. Over here is the Brahria nitida, and that's the white rock palm. It comes from Guatemala, Honduras and southern Mexico. It is a very, very, very nice palm tree. Very, very glaucous, the leaves, and it's a very good Brahria to grow, full of health now. As over here is Guadalupe palm from Guadalupe Island off the west coast of Mexico. Brahria edulis. It's looking so healthy. The leaves are getting massive, up to 1.5 meters across, and now starting to produce the adult foliage. It's growing much better now and more happily. And over here the cork oak is growing really magnificent. I can't get into it at the moment. It's got a lot of bushes around it, but it's growing very, very well. Quercus sober. And over here is the Brazilian feather palm over here, Butea capitata. It's got a massive thick trunk. The trunk's got to be about 2 foot across, thick, with arching fronds on it that arch over glaucous green up to over 2 meters long, and it produces jelly-like fruits that are eaten by the locals, and palm jelly can be made from it. Over here is Yucca elephantiae. It's normally grown as a house plant. It's also from Mexico. It has a base-like shaped like an elephant's foot at the base. If you can get to the base past there, it is shaped that way. So very, very nice. And over here is a Bolivian coconut palm, which is one of my favourite feather palms. This one here, it produces fruits to 5 to 10 centimeters across, which are like coconuts and taste of coconut, eaten by the locals. It lives in deep, warm, humid valleys in central Bolivia in South America, around 18.5 latitudinal, in subtropical regions to warm temperate regions. Plants produce up to 15 kilograms of coconuts in clusters. So it is definitely the favourite. This specimen's got to be about 3.5, 4 meters. Quite a good specimen. And over here is one of the largest palms in the world, the Chilean wine palm, Tubea chilensis. And it grows in a Mediterranean-like type of climate in the province of Quillota in coastal central Chile. It will grow a trunk anything from 1 meter to 1.6 meters in diameter. It's making it one of the biggest palms, and some specimens can reach 25 meters high. So it's quite not the tallest palm, but certainly the biggest in volume, you know, with the size of the trunk. And also the locals, it's in danger of extinction because the locals drain the sap from the trunk to get the sugary sap from the trunk, which causes the palm tree to in fact die, which is very, very sad. But here it will have a sanctuary and grow into hopefully a fully grown Chilean wine palm which may take, you know, another 100 years or so. Never mind. Over here is Crinodendron hookerianum. It lives in Chile and it has lantern-like pinky red flowers on the branches, hanging down from the branches. It's about to go out of flower soon now anyway. I've caught it a bit late, but I only decided to just video today. There's quite a lot of other South American species behind here. There's the one that was discovered on the Voyage of Beagle as well, by Charles Darwin, and there's quite a few other ones. We've got hang around here. We've got Luma apiculata, which is the myrtle, often grown on the Scilly Isles, you know, on St Mary's and Tresco, to protect them from the salt winds. We've got over here another species that's from Brazil, Tibochina, from southeastern Brazil. It comes with royal purple flowers on throughout the summer, and this one hasn't gone into flower. It went flowered last year, but not this year, unfortunately. Okay then, let's go through. We're going through the bamboo grove now. We've got Phyllostostachius aurea, which is from China, which is the yellow, green canes to start with that turn yellow as it goes on to maturity. Got that on both sides, and then we've got Phyllostostachius nigra, the black bamboo, which is also from China as well, and the black bamboo. Over here we've got Tetrapanix papifera from South Taiwan. The very deeply cut leaves, as you can see. Leaves can be up to about 2 to 3 feet across at times. This is one of the most tender species we have. This one here is a giant fishtail palm called Cayota maxima. It can go to 20 to 30 meters high. The fronds are bipinnately divided, flatly held, up to 3 meters long, 2 meters wide, and these fishtail palms are extremely tender. There was some grown in Ocala in Florida, and when they had a bad winter, some of them were actually killed. So they've got to be very, very careful with this one. It has pendulous drooping leaflets, as you can see. If you get very, very close, the leaflets just droop down, as you can see. Its origin is Indonesia, Malaysia, Java, Sumatra, Thailand and northern India, in tropical to subtropical regions. And over here we've got the Ryukyu banana plant from the Ryukyu Islands. This specimen's got to be about 3 meters high. Nice banana plant, lovely leaves on it, very, very healthy in this part of the jungle where I am. And over this other way is where we've got the tree ferns around the corner here. We just get past all these other palm trees here. And there's one of the palm trees, when I wasn't joking, and there's something about 6 meters high, you know, and a lot can happen in 10 years. This is Acacia Mellors Island, which is from Queensland. Comes out with yellow flowers in clusters on the branches there, and the branchlets. Over here, we'll come through here and we're looking at Scythia australis. It comes from Queensland and in Australia. Its massive arching fronds are coming right over the top of my head, bipinnately divided. It's often called a rough tree fern. You can see the roughness of all the aerial roots coming down the trunk, very, very thick. When I put this specimen in, it wasn't really too big, but it's now grown right up and over the top now. Scythia australis tree fern. Over here is the more known tree fern of Australia. This one is Dicksonia antarctica, the Australian tree fern. We've got quite a few more of these specimens, but growing right over the top of my head. Like growing right the other side of here, there's a big swampy pond. The other side of here, it's very, very swampy in this part of the garden. This is Dicksonia antarctica. There's a few more specimens of these ones. Are probably including the fronds, probably about 4 metres high, while as the other ones further back, they're more like 7 or 8 metres. You know, it's absolutely shocking that they can grow so massive and so enormous, you know, in that particular space of time. Right, so I think we'll move on a little bit further around the corner here. I'm doing a brief run through this time, and if I get all my books out and do all the descriptions of them, it would take me absolutely hours and hours to get around them all. But if I can take you around just a briefness, we can go into more detail another time if you wanted. This is Cunninghamiae lanceolata. It comes from China and Vietnam. It looks like it's like an Asian monkey puzzle tree with all the spiky sort of looking foliage, almost a bit like a monkey puzzle in some ways. Let's go through this other bit. We've got Semdenaria fastuosa, which is from Japan. Exceptionally fast growing bamboo, and this one's got to be about 8 or 9 metres to the very, very top. And it is spreading quite fast, you know, that kind of thing. We've got Taiwanea Cryptomoroides, which is from Mount Morrison in Taiwan. I grew about 3 or 4 of these along this stretch, so we need to get along and see what to do. And then we've got Magnolia Delaveyi. Now this one comes out with only flowers for about 2 days, with flowers 20 centimetres across. And look at that, all the way up to the top of there is really hasn't half grown. That's another Cunninghamiae lanceolata. And then we've got the Sargent's cherry, Prunus sargentii, over there. We've got a few Acer griseums growing in here now, a paperback maple from central China. Comes out with that lovely cinnamon bark, as you can see, absolutely unusual. And then we come through here, which is, we've even got a ginkgo biloba here. This is the ginkgo with the fan-shaped leaves, lived right from the prehistoric times, in dinosaurs times, to the present day of the ginkgo biloba. We've got Zelkova serrata from Japan and Korea. We've got Pseudosassa japonica, which is from South Korea and Japan, behind here, with Zelkova sinica from eastern China. This is another specimen. It's called Metasequoia glyptostroboides, and this one is from central China. It was only discovered in 1941, but it did live during the prehistoric monster years, you know, right through to the present day, and discovered by Tikan in central China. And then the seed was brought over to this country and started to grow them. But there is many specimens, I've been told, well over 100 feet high in this country. This is Oileria transversii, another good wind defence against salt winds. It's often growing on islands around off the British Isles, where they can get protection against the salt winds that comes from the Chapman Isles. And they grow to about 10 metres high. Their trunk diameter is maybe about 50 centimetres, or up to that, about that amount anyway. So this is Chinese redbark birch, Betula albocinensis, and it's come out with the most coppery sort of bark on this specimen. It's from the birch family. It's found in central and southern China. But what a beautiful specimen indeed. I've actually put a few of these in people's gardens, and as long as it's very sheltered, but in where the salt winds are, they just get desecrated, but in here where I've protected it, it's very healthy for them. This is Eucalyptus nitens, shining gum, and absolutely beautiful specimen. This has got to be way up to the top of about 60 feet high, 18 to 20 metres or so, with a nice bark on it, peeling off in long strips. It comes from central and eastern Victoria in Australia. Over here is Acacia dealbata, which is from southeastern Australia, Mignosa. Comes out with feathery foliage, very elegant and bipinnate in structure. Over here is Abies coreana, the Korean fir. That one's grown quite far up now. Got to be careful it doesn't get too smothered by the other trees. This one is Eucalyptus globulus. That's growing right up there through the top. That's nice. Comes from Tasmanian coastal southern Victoria. Acacia rubra as well. This is this one here, another Australian specimen. And then over here we've got Eucalyptus viminalis, the ribbon gum, which peels off in long strips. And it's making a big canopy above me and keeping the sun off, as we're in temperatures of 26 degrees centigrade in the shade. So it's very, very hot today, and it's nice to get underneath here and drink plenty of water. Over here is one of my favourite eucalyptus, Eucalyptus maculata, the spotted gum. This is only a small specimen now, but it has lovely leaves and foliage on it. It comes out with creamy white flowers that are scented and in clusters, but the trunk itself is conspicuously spotted with yellow and grey patches on the bark, and it really does stand out. It normally grows in sandy soils, but it is a very tender eucalypt and not normally could be grown in this country, as it comes from southern Queensland. And but it's going to be a few years. This specimen is probably about 2.5 meters high now, but it'll soon get up. Over here is Eucalyptus cordata. This one here is from Tasmania, but very, very glaucously shaped foliage, from eastern Tasmania, that is. So that's what that one is there. Over here is Wallemia nobilis, the Wallemi pine, discovered by Pat Noble, only in 1992. Has nice, unusual cones on the end of the branches, and the whole branch just comes off onto the ground, and it grows new ones back further up. The specimen's got to be about 4 to 5 meters high now. It lived during the Jurassic times and lived right through to the present day. It means that they were around in dinosaurs' times and still surviving as the original type of specimens. They were only found in now what they call Wollemi Park in New South Wales, where they were discovered in a very remote valley in New South Wales, and now we've got them growing now in this country, but they're very, very unusual conifer. Over here is another tender specimen I decided to grow, Livingstone nutida. It grows in central Queensland, but a bit further inland than its other relative. Its other relative is Livingstone decipiens, which grows on the coast near the Great Barrier Reef in New South Wales, which is this one here. This one's only started to put on a lot of growth as we got the heat wave, and it's starting to pop up now. It's had a bit of a rough time because it had a few shrubs growing over it. This is Acacia pravissima, this one here, and that one's from southeastern Australia. Comes out with yellow clusters of flowers in the early summer. And then behind that we've got Eucalyptus ovata, growing here from southeastern Australia. The specimen goes right the way up, must be about 25 metres right to the top. And then we've got the favourite acacia over here, which is Acacia baileyana. Lives in the Cookmarunda area, or Wagga Wagga area of New South Wales. It's supposed to be very tender, so but it's surviving here quite well, and growing a bit more hardy as it's been grown through the different years I've had here. This is Cordyline indivisia, a younger specimen I put in. I'm hoping it's going to grow and be quite good. Over here is another type of bamboo. It's from South Africa, and the Zulus make shields out of it. It's probably about 3.5 meters high. Quite a nice bamboo. Tharmocamus tessellatus is its Latin name. Very, very nice. Whoops daisy. This is Cetrus deodora, the Indian cedar. It comes from the western Himalayas. Very, very nice specimen. And next to that, on our right hand side, is Abies pindro, which is the West Himalayan fir. And it's sort of growing right away up. It's producing bluey purple cones at the very, very top of the tree, which I can't reach. It's probably about 5 or 6 meters up the tree. The foliage is very unusual for Abies. Exceptionally long are the needles, as you can see, for an Abies, but it is very, very nice. It's very beautiful. Over on our other side here is Cedar of Lebanon, Cetrus lebani. Comes from Syria and Lebanon, and this is only still quite a young tree. It will take at least another 50 years to get it right up to a good size, when I'm probably not around to see that. Maybe I will be. I'm only just a young person. Right, okay, and then we've got over here we've got King Boris's fir, Abies borisii regus, just that one there. And then we've got Abies cephalonica, the Grecian fir, from Greek, from Bulgaria and Greece. And over here we've got Yucca gloriosa from the southeastern United States. Comes out with white flowers on a long stalk that grows up to about 2.5–3 meters high. Over here is the famous monkey puzzle tree. Absolutely nice one, that's from Chile. Has nice spiky foliage. It's everybody's kind of favourite, and certainly a very tall, big specimen. It's got to be at least probably 7 or 8 meters high, right away up there to the very, very top. There's a few other ones growing here too, as you can see. Abies macrophylla, the Oregon maple. We've got Californian coast redwoods growing here as well. We've got the Weymouth pine. We've got just Sitka spruce. I put Picea sitchensis in because it's supposed to be able to grow to be the tallest spruce in the world, and it's also good against the salt winds as well. That's that one. There's Monterey pine also around the outside, Pinus radiata, and these are really massively tall and big right near me now. This is Quercus nigra, that's in the southeastern United States. We've got lodgepole pine, Pinus contorta latifolia. Picea engelmannii, the Engelmann spruce. Lovely glaucous colour that is, that one specimen. And over on my other side is the Colorado white fir, Abies concolor. Very, very nice, as you can see the foliage, very dense. They're all growing so much healthier. These specimens to start with, when we had no wind protection, we were almost desecrated. That's the Monterey cypress, there, Cupressus macrocarpa. I even put a Pinus patula in here, a Mexican weeping pine from Mexico. That's just the Lawson cypress. And over here is the famous Douglas fir, the good Western North America timber tree, a very, very good quality timber that is produced from these trees. And then we can go around here, the corner here. We've got Tusca heterophylla, the Western hemlock spruce. That's also Western North America as well. Over here we've got Eucalyptus delicatensis, which is from Victoria in Australia. Very, very nice, that one. And we've got, if we can get through here, we've got Magnolia grandiflora, which is this one here. This specimen here is supposed to produce a profusion of white flowers throughout the summer. It hasn't really flowered yet for some reason, and it's unfortunate that it hasn't. Over here we're in the dense area of Douglas fir and coarse redwoods, and behind here we've got swamp cypress, Taxodium distinctum, which is very, very unusual. Normally goes in the swamps and dominates the Everglades of Florida, you know, so they produce knees like roots coming up from very damp wet areas so they can get air better, you know. So over here it's not very swampy, it's quite dry, so the swamp cypresses won't need to do that. This one's Erignium agavifolium from Argentina. Another type of bamboo, which is Sassa palmata from Japan. It goes to about 2.5 meters high. The leaves can get to 35 centimeters long and 7 or 8 centimeters across. But it does spread quite rapidly. Over on our other side, we get past here, we've got Abies grandis from Western North America, the grand fir. It's the only grand fir that we've got in the collection, but it's very healthy, it's doing very well. It has a very close relative as well. And if we go over here, we've got Abies lowiana, which is its close relative, but it has much wider leaves and more flattened and more differently arranged on the leaves. And the cones are a little bit different too, but very, very good. And then we've got the North American tulip tree, which is this one here, Iodendron tulipifera. And over here we've got from Mount Morrison, Taiwanea Cryptomeroides from Mount Morrison in Taiwan. And then Picea pungens glauca, Colorado spruce, which is a very nice tree, doing very healthy at the moment. And then, not at the most of all, is the Cetrus atlantica, the Atlas cedar from Morocco, from the Atlas Mountains, which is a very, very nice. It produces cylindrical cones that grow erect on the branches, like barrel shaped. Over here is one of the favourite ones. Over here is Picea smithania Himalayan weeping spruce. Lives in the western Himalayas. And then nearby we've got Pinus Walkiana over here, the Bhutan pine living in the temperate Himalayas, which it has a lot of droopy kind of foliage on. This one's Northophagus dombii. He comes from Chile and Argentina, and it's related to the beech family, but it is of course evergreen, which helps to make it nice all year round. Here we've got Chasquehuia gigantea, which comes from Chile. It's a very big, fast-growing bamboo and can reach up to 10 meters high. The canes are very useful for making erect stakes with, for plants. We use them for that. When they dry the canes out, they look a bit like this, and then we can use them as for holding up plants and what have you, and keep them steady in the plant pots. So there you go. Specimen Ginkgo biloba. This one is used in medicines and for helping people with Alzheimer's and other things, such as the likes of other ailments as well. It's native to central China and lived right through to the present day, over millions and millions of years, since dinosaur times and a little bit before that. Here's some other eucalyptuses that we've got here. We've got Eucalyptus manifera as well, which is this one here, and Eucalyptus aggregata in the background there, and then Eucalyptus dalrympliana, which are these three here, 3 eucalypts. And the other fascinating eucalyptus that I've got is another one that's called a swamp gum, and is the Eucalyptus camphora, swamp gum from Victoria in Australia. Most of these ones are from the southeastern range of Australia, the ones I do have, but nonetheless it's an interesting feature to have. This is the silver dollar gum, Eucalyptus polyanthemus. You can see the leaves are rounded like silver dollars. This is Callistenum rigidus, the red bottlebrush shrub from New South Wales. This is Callistenum pallidus, this one. It's from Victoria and Tasmania, but it produces pale yellow bottlebrush flowers in early summer. We're now in June or July, so we won't have the bottle brushes this time. There's a bit of a bottle brush still left on there, but it's fading away anyway. On the other side we've got the red bottle brush shrub, which is Callistenum subulatus. Has red flowering bottle brushes on, but it's now a bit out of season too. But I'm putting them on the video nonetheless, because to show what I've actually got, which might be something a little bit more interesting. I've got also a Pseudopanax, which is this plant's spiky octopus looking plant of Pseudopanax, which is a good specimen too. And then we've got Trachycarpus tachyle, which is from Mount Tathmachalda, and it is in flower. Trachycarpus tachyle palm tree. It's now 2:51 and the temperature has now reached the tropical range. It's nearly up to 30 degrees centigrade, It's about 29 degrees centigrade there in the shade. This is absolutely boiling hot, so it is like the tropics here. I've got my few odds and ends just to show you just yet, so we'll get back to that in a minute or two. This is the eucalyptus. I've been trying to get to show you Eucalyptus camphora. It lives in swamp damp situations in Victoria and in New South Wales. This specimen is quite tall. It must be about 10 or 12 metres to the top of this one. It has grown down on its side, that one, but the other ones that are nearby me have grown right the way up, maybe to 15 or 20 metre. Eucalyptus camphora, but I do like this specimen because of the ovate leaves, and it's evergreen and it gives shade and cover in this 29 degrees centigrade in the shade of heat. And it's made a big difference since earlier on in the day, how the temperatures crept up. And just to remind you that cool temperate is from 7 to 10 and temperate is from 11 to 15 centigrade, subtropical is from 22 to 27, and tropical is like from 28 degrees centigrade up over, and we're already on 29 here, so it's like the tropics. It's just it means that all these palms and trees and all the different species. Oh, there, I've just noticed now at the top of here, there's a Callistenum pallidus that's still got the pale yellow bottlebrush flowers on. It's from Victoria and Tasmania, so I think it's really nice to see the bottlebrush is still flowering even now, and we're well getting towards mid-June really, like. So there you go. That's amazing. The leaves are so much wider and lanceolate and thicker than the Callistenum rigidus, the red bottle brush variety, which is much more finer leaves. This is the Butea palms. This one is a woolly spath palm, and the spaths of this palm are covered with a short brown wool, identifying it from other Butea palms. The fronds arch over towards the trunk, which can be glaucous or green. Plants grow in the open land and savanna. They are more hardy than the jelly palm Butea capitata because they grow at higher altitudes above sea level than the other species, but they both grow to about 5 meters high of trunk with their fronds on top. So, and also the fruits are edible and can be eaten straight from the tree, or it can be made into jam or jelly, the fruits. So that's an interesting thing to do for that kind of a palm tree. So this specimen now is a Brahea nitida, a white rock palm. Plants are found in Guatemala, southeastern Mexico, and dry open bushland, western and southern part of Mexico. It is easy to identify as it is the only species of Brahea without thorns on the leaf stalks. Trunk is smooth and slender, dark greyish green, leaves have white undersides and silvery blue above. The trunk can reach 12 meters high in its native habitats. So it normally grows on dry limestone hills and is suited to a Mediterranean climate. It will grow in the tropics, and as long as it's not too high in humidity, of course, and kept much drier for the species. So there you go. So, and it also grows much faster than Brahea amata, but that Brahea amata has thorns on the leaf stalks, but it doesn't grow as fast and doesn't develop into a palm tree anywhere near as quick as Brahea nitida does. This specimen is a rhododendron species, Rhododendron Sinograndi, and it is one of the biggest leaf rhododendrons that there is. It is a very nice specimen indeed. And nearby I've got Cryptonaria japonica, the Japanese red cedar. It has oral shaped leaves and in a peculiar pattern going out and all over the place. Well, very nice and unusual evergreen conifer. It has a red bark, reddish brown bark that peels off in strips. It's starting to produce some corns on it now. They're only green at the moment. It'll take a while for them to become brown and produce the seed it wants to produce. But this specimen is probably about 8 or 9 meters high. So there you are. It's all good. This is another rhododendron as well, and this is Rhododendron thomsoni. It is a very smooth plum bark coloured with cinnamon bark colouring on the bark itself. The leaves are very rounded and glaucous when young, obviously going a bit more oval and slightly bigger when older, and it produces deep red cup-shaped flowers April to May, and then for fruit in clusters as well. The origin is northern India. But we'll have a look at that a bit like closer at the bark. I think go down there, you can see a nice coloured bark, brown.